Hello and welcome to the finale of 1984 Royal Court. I'm here with the final two and the jury to decide who is going to win this whole season. So, Scott won part three of the final head of household competition. He did choose to evict Cade, but he also won the option of whether to go first in openings or second, and it will be flipped for closings. He has chosen to go second in openings, so that means Shayna will go first. Each of you will have 7 minutes to give us your opening speech, and then we'll go down the jurors in order that they were evicted. They will each get 7 minutes, and then we will do 2 minutes of closing statements from each of you. I told you guys this before. I'm going to say it again so the jurors can hear. I will be giving 3.5 minute warnings and 1 minute warnings in the Zoom chat. All of the time warnings will be in the Zoom chat. So keep a lookout for that. And then jurors, if you would like, you are able to use the jury finale chat on the Discord, but please refrain from using the Zoom chat. So, okay, Shayna, your time will begin when you start speaking. Good luck.
All right, I'm so nervous. My anxiety and ADHD is gonna do the best we can do right now. First off, thank you, Prod. Thank you for having me here. It's been absolutely amazing. And thank you to this entire cast. Like, you guys have been phenomenal. And I'm sorry to everybody that I've had to hurt along the way. I had to do things to get here. And um, I guess I'll start by my shorter conversation, and that's my physical game. I've only won two HOHs and one veto. And yes, I gave it all my all and came close to many others. But like, other than that, my whole game, I have given 110%. I wanted to be here. I probably have the busiest life ever. And I have devoted all my free time to this game, whether it be in DMs or in competitions and everything. So maybe it's not the strongest game out there, but it is a game worth looking at. My strongest game is definitely my social strategic game. And most people are like, wait, those are two different things. But you could be social and not have a fucking game at all. I have a social game that is strategic in a way that I maneuver relationships. And I have done a really good job with that. For instance, spreading info. I have literally, like, there was around like Cody, Cade, Brian were like all spreading random things, and that made Cody and Cade closer to me. I have manipulated situations and relationships to benefit me. I have been flexible. I have worked with people outside of my alliances. I've had many alliances and had to adapt each round. I've adapted, I have used, and I've also protected and carried people that I trust and need along this game. I have put my heart and soul into this game. For instance, like certain situations, I have convinced Brian to not use the veto 2 times when I thought I was going on the block. I have concocted plans with Mia to be like, oh, tell Brian you're putting me up so that he wouldn't use the veto. Like, I was in the background constantly playing this game. I have given this game 110%, if not more. And I think that I am a worthy winner. And I don't know how much more I can say right now, but I really like look forward to questions because I feel like if I go into things that I've done and said, that I could be here all freaking night and talk about it. So I want to spend most of my time talking. One last thing too, me being on the block, I stayed unanimously because of my own accord. I did that. I told all my allies to stay the fuck back and do nothing, and I will stay. I got Cade. I convinced Cade I was better for his game. I stayed unanimously. I was never nominated again after that. I've never had a vote against me. I've literally protected myself. I didn't depend on people, but people depended on me. And I think I am a worthy winner. And I'm going to cut it short because I want to save shit for questioning. But I love you guys. I'm so sorry for everything I've had to do. Please don't hate me. Mwah.
Thank you, Shayna. Okay. Scott, your 7 minutes will start when you start talking.
Right? Hello, jury. I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm not the best public speaker. But first, I wanted to thank production for giving me this second chance. I hope I lived up to your expectations and I hope I made you proud. I know this speech is going to sound like a lot of fluff, but I want to save any specific details for your questions. That being said, I want to make it clear why I deserve to win this game. Coming into this season, I was coming in to play differently than I did the first time. The first time I played, there was one word that you could use to describe my game: chaotic. This time I aimed for a calmer, more calculated approach. And while I was able to maintain that approach for a while, I knew that I would have to make a bold move. And that bold move came at the second live night. That's when I showed my cards and took a close ally out of the game, someone I knew that would be nearly impossible to beat later on in the game. That opened up the game for a lot of people, giving everyone a fighting chance to win. Now, I know some of you, or most of you, may feel that I don't deserve to be sitting here tonight, but I respectfully disagree. No, I may not have been the most strategic mastermind or the biggest competition beast, but what I did was adapt. I relied on my strongest asset, which was my social game, to build relationships, gain trust, and put myself in the best position possible for me in this game. And while some people, well, a lot of people like to say that I was fake along the way, let's not forget what game we're playing. Big Brother is a game of lies and deceit, but through it all, I remained as real as one can while still playing to win. I also want to shout out my alliance, the Powerpuff Girls, my amazing alliance. Together, we navigated this game, but I also made sure that I was able to position myself well with people outside of my alliance. I made strong connections, maybe a little too strong at points. But at the end of the day, I owned my game. I won competitions when I needed to, and I was able to outlast players who were considered to be bigger threats than myself. And most importantly, I adapted and made sure that I made it much further than I did the first time. Now, I know I didn't give every detail or a lot of details of my game, but like I said, I wanted to save some time for your questions and I wanted to be able to explain to you in your questions all of that stuff. So, with that, I wanted to say I look forward to answering your questions and I look forward to proving to you why I deserve to win 1984 Royal Court. And I'm going to stop talking because that was a whole babble fest.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Okay, so we will now turn it over to the jury. 7 people that you guys had a hand in voting out of this game. So we're going to go in the order that they were evicted. So, Sarah, you are up first. And then, Sarah, your time will start when you start talking.
Me?
I can hear you.
Am I seen?
I can't see you.
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Oh,
I,
Okay.
there you are.
Hi
Beautiful.
guys. Honestly, like I was not expecting this final two. No offense, I really didn't want this final two. But I did say the only way one of you would have won is if you guys brought each other. So congratulations, whoever thought about that. But my first question is for both of you guys. What was your biggest strategic move in the game and how did it impact your chance of potentially winning? Strategic move.
Just going first.
Shayna, you can go first.
Okay. I think my biggest move was after you left, Sarah, I aligned with Brian. And a lot of people outside of my solid relationships didn't realize how close I was until it came down to like using him in certain situations. But twice with the Maddie vote, like even before you left, he didn't use the veto. And then he said, I'm not going to put you up and we could work together. And I saved him with your vote. In return, I constantly got him not putting like using the veto for Danny and Maddie. He could have saved both of his allies twice. And instead, He didn't, and I stayed off the block. Whereas I think I would have went up and had an opportunity to leave like to the jury. So to me, those were huge strategic moves, is getting close with Brian when nobody else wanted to. Everybody else was so stuck in their relationships and stuff. I branched out constantly, like trying. I even tried with you, Sarah. I love you, but I really did try. I think I needed more, you know what I mean? But I'm saying, like, I was super flexible and I maneuvered this game very well. And doing so with Brian, that saved me for quite a few rounds. And then another time with Mia. So I aligned with Mia, Brian, Carly, and I in an alliance. And that saved me when Mia won HOH. So like adapting to relationships that weren't in my core, that were already buckling, helped me get here. I was literally always willing to work with anyone and establish those relationships, protect myself to get here. So yeah, go Scott.
Hi, Sarah. So do you say like strategic move or like move in general?
Strategic.
Strategic move. Okay. I will say that my strategic move is what a lot of people, I think, fault me in this game is allowing myself to build good personal relationships with everyone in this game to position myself well in the game to be able to make it as far as I did. I also feel like it was a good strategy to get in good with a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't respect a game like that, but I had a lot of people that were good with me, and so they were giving me all this information. So I felt like I was in the know a lot of the times, and I was able to be that way because a lot of people liked me. And that's all I can say. I think one of my biggest strategic moves was positioning myself in good relationships with a lot of people.
Okay, so from the jump, I already knew all three of you guys were in an alliance. You said it was the Powerpuff Girls. I called you guys the Big Three. So what decision did you make to benefit your game that was solely your decision, that was not a decision of Carly, for both of you guys?
I mean, I made multiple. I told Carly to stay the hell out of it when I was on the block. I saved myself. I worked with Cade myself. Cade wasn't close to them at the time. I worked with Brian solely. Brian saved me multiple times. I did so many things on my own outside of that alliance. It's not even funny. Like, I literally maneuvered ships to stay safe. Even with Danny, like I branched out from that trio to make sure that I stayed safe in the other side 1 hour. There was one situation where like Brian wanted to use the veto, and Mia was HOH there at the round 11 that I won, or wait, the round 10 that she won HOH. And I went to Mia and I said, tell Brian you're going to put me up because he will never use it if he thinks I'm going up. And we concocted a whole ass plan off of what I said, and he didn't use it. And we ran that round. I ran that round, but they ran the round with me, Mia and Carly. But they only did what I told them to do. And there's multiple situations that I've done that. I didn't play anybody else's game. I played my game. I stayed because of my own accord. I'm here because of me. That's it. Thank you. Love you.
So I came in, oh, I guess it's my turn, sorry. Okay. I came in wanting to be honest, and I actually like this question because it probably ties into other questions that will be asked later. I will say, in this game, when I was making decisions, I tried to make decisions that were best for me. But one of my biggest regrets in this season is the fact that there were times that I didn't follow my gut. There were times where I wanted to vote out Brian like 3-4 times, but my alliance thought differently, and I'm loyal to my alliance. So I went with what my alliance wanted, but in the long run, it actually turned out okay because I'm here. But one regret that I will say that I have, even though that wasn't the question, I thought I made my own decisions, but I wish I had stuck with that more because there were some decisions that I made that I wish I had made a little differently. But I'm glad I did everything with my alliance though, because I love them to death. I would not change that in any way.
Okay, one more question. What relationships or people or who do you think you manipulated in the game to help you get
Brian.
farther?
Brian.
You
But
think you manipulated Brian?
I did, but I returned the favor to him as well.
Scott?
And when
I don't like the word manipulated, but I will say if we're talking someone that I feel like I talked to a lot, knowing that I probably wasn't going to go very far with them, Sarah, and you clocked it was you. I do apologize for that. I think you're a great person. I didn't want to bullshit around it. You clocked it when you left. I really enjoyed you personally. But I did not really have any plans of going that far with you. He said to wrap it up, so I stopped.
I knew it. I'm a genius. So
you're beautiful.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
thanks. Bye.
Thanks,
Okay.
Sarah.
Next up is Cody. Cody, your 7 minutes will start when you start talking.
Y'all are not ready.
I'm-
So I'm going to start by saying I am probably one of the most loyal players to a fault. I believe people who aren't loyal, kind of have something coming, especially if they make it to the end of this game. Because one of the most important aspects of Big Brother Survivor, any challenge that involves a vote at the end, is jury management. Jury management will make or break somebody's game. And I think this final two had one of the poorest jury management, listening people coming into the jury based off of conversations that jury members have had. It sucked. One thing I do respect is people standing 10 toes down and telling straight up to your face what they are thinking. And Shayna did that whenever I was nominated, and I respect that. I don't have questions. I don't typically make questions. I kind of give a...
Can I comment on that real quick?
If you insist.
With you, Cody, I came into this game knowing you. I trusted you. And then I felt for rounds, I was finding out about multiple alliances that didn't include me, especially Danny, Carly, you, like things like that. Another one I can't remember right now on the top of my head. And then going into that day, I was at work the whole fucking day. And I got messages from 2 p.m. on saying, oh, Cody's throwing you under the bus. So to me, I'm thinking I already had reservations about you. And I was hoping that I felt like you got closer to me once I outed the whole like Cade Brian bullshit. And then you lashed on. So to me, I was thinking, okay, this motherfucker is throwing me under the bus. Like, and I really did want to work with you. But I felt like you were working with other people and building these small core alliances without me. So to me, I hope you're not upset for making that move, because that move had to happen for me, because I don't think, A, you were looking at me for the long run, and B, you were going to kick my fucking ass in the long run. I made that fucking choice because I knew you had to go. And I hope you respect that and see that, because given the game we were given, I hoped that we were able to work a little closer together, but I don't think that we were there. Do you get what I'm saying from my point of view?
Yes, and your point of view is completely misguided, because I had a core alliance and that was with you and Carly, 100%. And I told y'all just about everything.
Told me about your core alliance.
Who?
Danny. Danny told me about it.
Did she tell you how much that me and Carly
both
spoke?
Talked in there, but hearing about that just like justified everything that I was.
Did you ask Carly about it at all? Because there was no conversation in that at all. Carly wanted to make the chat, and no other chat was made.
After, and it kind of justified it, but I was like more so like, already feeling weary of you because I feel like even the round when I was on the block, I don't think you were working really hard to keep me. Whereas like I was putting in the work. And then when I stayed, you were like, yeah, great.
That's baffling. Considering I went to fucking work, and you can ask production to make sure people voted to keep you. I messaged every single fucking person
Okay,
when we sat
I'm
on
wrong.
call
I'm so sorry if I'm wrong.
about a lot of shit.
I'm sorry if I'm wrong,
That
but it was the communication between you and I. It felt like awkward.
okay.
I'm sorry if it's
That kind of
awkward.
makes me think things differently. Because
No,
I
I'm
definitely
just
had
saying,
thoughts
like,
coming
I'm
into
telling
this.
you from
Like,
my
a lot of jury members are decided in their votes. Truthfully, I'm being fully transparent. People came into the jury being pretty much decided on their votes tonight. So
no,
best of
I'm
luck.
trying to like
And
my point of view from the thing. If you want to tell me otherwise, let's do it. Like, tell me your perspective at that moment.
my
You were
perspective is
100%.
that 100%.
I'm gonna read that after.
Yes, 100%.
Then I'm fucking sorry. Because that day I got nonstop messages saying you were throwing me under the bus. And I believed it all. And I was like, why is he doing this to me?
It
And I was
benefited
at
my
work.
game 0%, and I told Carly that too. Me and Carly are going to have problems after this, and we'll address that after this. But me and you, that it hurt, especially because I was 100% genuine 100% of the time.
I just got messages that day saying you were throwing me under the bus, so it was a no-brainer. Like I
And you were
literally
played
was
like a
told by
fiddle.
Mia, or Carly said Mia was like dragging me and all these things, and I'm at work and I'm getting these messages, and this is how it played out. I was so busy that I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I got off work and I was able to play the veto. But that's how my day transpired. I couldn't even message people. Like I was so scared because I thought you were throwing me under the bus. I
Was
thought
not.
you were coming for me at live night.
Nope.
Well, that's a conversation we're gonna have at reunion.
Perfect. So the remainder, however much of my time, I had a whole bunch of other shit to say. So I'm going to, oh, I have a minute left. Okay, we're gonna speed run this. I want to say something nice about why the other jury members deserve to be in the final two, because I think they deserve their flowers. A lot of the jury members ate the fuck out of this game. So Sarah, you overcame a fucking lot. A lot of people were secretly targeting you. And they wanted you out more than fucking anything. And I tried to save you. I really fucking did. And then they blindsided me. Danny, after I left, I was very confused as to what the fuck you were doing. But you fought. You were not in the majority for a lot of this game, and you fought your fucking ass off. Brian, you were a constant fucking target, and you won comps whenever you needed to. I said this before I left. I said this in the jury chat. I wanted you to win this game. I think you would have been the best representation this season. Mia, you played the game hands down. You knew when to sell people out. You knew when to create lies. You knew when, like, had it down. Cade, biggest fucking underdog, robbed, period.
Thank you so much, Cody. Okay, next up, we'll move on to Danny. Danny, your 7 minutes will start when you start talking.
Hello, everybody. I am falling asleep and I'm in Disney World with a theme park view room, and life is amazing. So like just for clarity, I told Shayna about that alliance literally after Cody was evicted. So
Sorry.
What was that?
Sorry, I brought that up after. I said it was after, but it like was telling. Sorry.
Yeah, it was after he was evicted when we were kind of like trying to like work together ish, or like when I guess like apologies, whatever. Anyway, it was like after live night. But I don't really have a whole lot of questions. I just wanted to kind of congratulate both of you because I am not like they're like some other people are. And I just wanted to say that you both, I think, played fantastic and deserve to be at the end. And I'm very happy for both of you. So I real quick do want to just bring up, I think, like the top criticisms that people have about both of your games to give you guys a chance to defend that. And that is that I think that a lot of people felt spurned by Scott as far as maybe feeling like he like you had maybe just a little bit too much interest in them, and then like backstab them and actually for both of you that maybe you guys weren't honest when voting somebody out. Of course, my perspective of that is a little skewed. I spoke to both of you when I was evicted, and Scott didn't have the chance to vote me out because we were on the block together, and Shayna was straight up with me. So I don't have that feeling, but I know that a lot of people do. And a lot of the votes were blindsided, so I can understand that. And Shane, I think the biggest criticism people have is that they don't give you enough credit for playing your own game for yourself. So I wanted to give both of you enough time to kind of defend those big criticisms.
Want to go out?
Yeah, I can go. Oh, did you say, do I want to go first? Yeah, I can go first. I will be very honest. Like I had touched on with Sarah's question, I definitely do think I went a little overkill with my social game and forming relationships. But like I said, I do sometimes feel like all I have in these games are my social game. So I feel like when I come in, I feel like I need to make a good relationship with as many people as possible so I can position myself to make it as far as I can, while also picking those couple of people that I know I want to ride it out with. And I wish I had done that differently, because now that I am thinking about it, once everyone finds out, oh, well, I had a good relationship with Scott, but I have a good relationship with Scott, and then he votes me out, that's not fun. I understand why people feel burned and feel upset, because that's no fun. And I will say, Danny, while you were not someone in like that, like obviously I was with Carly and Shayna, you were someone outside of that I did not have plans of going against anytime soon. It's just we got put up together. So we really, I mean, we kind of had to like go against each other in a sense. But definitely, if I were to play this game again, and I think it kind of got me the first time I played too, was you can be friends with, oh, sorry, I want to give Shane attention. You can be friends with people without going overkill and making them think that you can't work with everyone, is what I'm saying. And I'll do differently next time. Shayna, take it away.
So when it comes to being honest, I thought it was obvious with Sarah. I didn't need to send Sarah a message. Cody, that round happened so fast, but I told him I was using the veto, and he knew he was going up. Like, it was so obvious. Like, I didn't have to sit there and be like, blah, blah, blah. Danny, you and I had a conversation. You knew you were probably going. We had a great conversation, and I adore you. You are probably the most like easygoing person here, and I think people thought you were like really closed off from early on, and I adore the fact that you have been honestly like open with me through the game. With the Mia vote, I was HOH, but I did want that. I had no vote there. Why did I have to message Mia and say, I want Carly and Scott to vote you out? Like, that would be silly. With the Brian vote, I told Brian he's going and why he had to go. I told Cade why he's going and why he had to go in this final 3 if I won it. And I didn't win it, but Cade knows that I had a conversation. So I had conversations with everybody except for Sarah and Cody, basically. And maybe Mia. Like, Mia, I think maybe had some sort of hope, but like, I was HOH at the time. Like, I'm not going to sit there and out the votes. So to me, that's stupid. What was the other one part about me?
That I think that people don't give you enough credit for your game.
100%. And that's my whole argument for my starting speech, everything. I'm the one that convinced Brian to not use the veto twice. I'm the one that stayed 9-0 and never went back on the block again, and stayed with 0 votes against me. Never been nominated again after Sarah. I get why Sarah did it, because I voted her. That was out of bitterness. And I understand that. I never was mad about that. But here's the thing, like, the whole game, I played my own game. I had my own relationships, whether it be with you, Danny, or Brian or Cade. I never once fucking stuck to a group of people. I worked outside of that. I have relationships, like I said, with Brian and Cade. I did that on my own to protect myself going forward. And even with Mia near the end there, Mia can vouch for that too. I worked hard on my own.
Yeah, there's just only a couple seconds left, so I just wanted to once again congratulate both of you and good luck.
Thank you, Danny.
For being a positive force in this
Thank you.
chaotic game.
Thank you.
Love you, Danny.
Thank you,
Love you,
Danny.
Danny.
Okay, next up is Mia. So
Hi.
Tyler is going to read Mia's statements.
Okie dokie. Here's your new Mia. So this is how she started it. I am so sorry to be missing finale night. This game was very fun and interesting and awful all at the same time. Now, she doesn't have any questions for y'all, but she has statements for each of you. So Scott first. Scott, I was just trying to think about your gameplay today, but no thoughts were formed. I couldn't really put your deception, which was horrible, by the way, forced emotional labor, and spineless behavior into words. I guess all I have to say is congrats on making it to the end, and next time, just try better. I think Cody put it best when you put him on the block. PUSSY. You will never be famous, and I have no questions for you. Now, Shayna.
I don't even
Shayna,
know. I don't want to know.
Shayna, you played a great game, but honestly, I don't want to bother typing it out, or I don't want to bother typing out my thoughts about you since you backdoored me. Good luck.
I know. I mean, that's
Okay.
Yeah,
We-
she
We
read
will
the
now
story.
move on to Brian. Brian, your 7 minutes starts when you start talking.
oh my god, my
Hi. I'm quite bitter because
you.
I'm not getting on camera. I'm quite
Oh,
bitter because I'm being held here against my will. However, I also have no ill will towards this game. I think we all played as best as we could in the circumstances. And I do think Cody has some truth when he said earlier that some people's votes have been decided. And I will say this, you both have very different journeys in my eyes and how you got to the end. I think you've been defending it pretty well. And I do think one thing I would like to know is how you each view each other's game. So if you had to describe the other finalists' game in one word, what would it be and why?
Who's going first?
Um,
Um,
you can go first, Shayna, if you'd like.
oh my god. I don't
Or
questions because they're kind of nasty, but I love you, Brian, and I wouldn't expect anything less. Like, oh my god, I should have known you were gonna do this to
if
me.
you want, I can go first because I already have my word. If you want to.
Okay, go, Scott, go.
I'm just gonna say fierce.
What's the explanation?
Shayna is how she, like, you get Shayna how, like, what am I trying to say? Shayna literally is what she lays on the table. Like, she's a fierce competitor, she's strong, and I know I probably shouldn't be saying that because I'm competing against her, but she literally, you get what you get with Shayna. She's not gonna bullshit you. Well, at least she didn't bullshit me. She's gonna come into the game and she's gonna fight as hard as she can. And to me, that just screams fierce, ferocity. Like, I don't even know if that's a word, but ferocity. Fierce.
Thanks, honey.
Awesome.
I guess I'll explain Scott is loyal. I think Scott has been super loyal to me personally, and even at moments like I've had to sway Scott to vote in my favor and stuff, and he's been incredibly loyal to do what I want.
Oh my. Well, I guess
Sorry, Scott.
No, it's okay. There were times, I will say, there were times I want.
There was times he wanted to vote you out, Brian, and
I
I was
love you, Brian.
not the fuck doing that.
I know, and I think,
But
yeah.
it was nothing. Sorry, I can let you speak, my bad.
No, it's fine. Yeah, Scott, your acting skills may need to be a little bit better moving forward in future
Well,
games.
hey, I might be an actor on the stage, which doesn't mean I'm a good actor in games.
But either way, you know, y'all did what we all failed to do and you made it to the end. And we're gonna find out tonight if loyalty or ferocity is what the winner needs this season.
Can I just say to you, Brian, you went out as a humble fucking king. Like
You
I
did.
was fire, and I was like, I fucking love you even more. Like you've been a great ally too. I'm sorry that you had to go that round. It just made sense.
It's perfectly fine. I get it, and I think it was the right move.
You've been
Um,
a great ally to me, and I want to thank you.
you're welcome. And you, compared to Scott, you are a good actor because that extra vote lie was well
I
delivered.
know you told. I guess the jury knows about that. So my lie to Brian. I'm sorry. That was to test you with information, and you kept that. And you even said at final two, "Can you use that?" I was like, "Oh no, it's coming back to haunt me a couple times now."
Yep, but
But I
well delivered. Love playing with you, Shane, and Scott. It was lovely talking to you as
love.
well. But good luck with that last couple bits. I'm looking forward to the rest of the fight that apparently is going to be happening.
Thanks, honey.
Thank you, Brian. Love you.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, next up we have Carly.
Oh no,
Oh
not our
my gosh.
bestie.
Carly, your time will start when you start talking.
PPG. Hi, babies. I've missed you both.
I miss
I got you
you.
live for my sick ass household.
We've been crying for days, waiting to see your face.
Yes.
You've been waiting to see your face. Like
I've missed you
the
both.
calls are
I
not
miss
the
you
same.
too.
All right. Well, as I'm sure you can both imagine, I feel like I have the best perspective of both of your games. Like, so I'm not gonna have you rehash everything to me because I feel like, again, I feel like I know everything. But
Yeah.
my question is actually, since you both know, I think I mentioned this on multiple occasions throughout this game, what I value most as a juror is strategic control. And I do think our alliance held strategic control over this game. Like, I really do believe that. With that being said, although I know pretty well everything, whether it was something Scott and I talked about, Shane and I talked about, we all talked about it together, what don't I know? Tell me something about your game that you never told me.
So Carly,
Yeah,
I'll start.
go for it.
I didn't want to win that final veto because if I won it and I saved Cade, I destroyed my relationship with you and Scott. But if I won it and I didn't save Cade, I would have been buried by this jury because I didn't put you up. Do you get what I'm saying? That was the
100%.
hard thing. I threw that knowing that very well you and Cade could have your last moment and each of you decide your fate in that moment. I had to like drop. I was like, at one point, I was like, I'm going to keep going. And then I was like, there's no good ending for me with this winning this veto because I want to save you and not put you up and keep you around. But the jury would have fucking buried me. They would have said, this is your one chance to get Carly out. You're done. So that is my biggest moment that I against you that still breaks my heart that I even threw that, but also like I couldn't take you to the end in that moment too. You know what I mean? Like I felt very conflicted.
No, I love that. And to be honest, like I figured, but I wanted to hear you say it. So
I
thank you.
Bro, but I was hoping you would still win. But
No.
if I won, I was put in a position that I would have to decide between you two, and it was going to be game ending.
And I know you would have made the better decision for your game. I know that about
It
you.
would have done because that kills me to even think about. But
Okay, good one. Scott?
Okay, hi, Boo. I feel like I told you almost like everything about my game, but I think there's one thing I know I told Sheena. I don't remember if I told Sheena like when we did like the rites of passage. I don't know if I told you when you were in the game or not, but I was for the first like 5 rounds in this game in a 3-person alliance with Cody and Mia, and we were called the Renegades. And we were in this alliance. Cody, I won't give this to Cody. Cody is the one that formed this alliance because we were all returning players and we all thought, okay, we're going to work together. One of the reasons, you don't know this, Shayna, but one of the reasons I ended up, like, I know Cody and I voted Kadri out, and I don't know about him, but my reasoning was to save face with Mia because Mia really wanted Kadri out, and I felt if I had voted Kadri to stay, yes, you guys would have been okay with me, but Mia was going to be pissed, and I felt like it would be. I was really upset that I voted against you guys that round, but I knew I was like, okay, I think if I trust them, if they trust me, they'll understand. I need to save face with Mia here. So that's something I think that I did not tell you, but I still love you.
Oh my God, no, I'm so impressed. You know what? I'm very impressed with the fact that you both had something to say. Because honestly, if it was me, I probably would have sat there and been like, I don't know. I don't think I have anything. I'm incredibly proud of both of you. I'm going to give Cade his flowers too, because I am still very proud of Cade for not only beating me at Final Four and taking the shot that no one else bothered to take the entire season, but just also how hard he fought in the end of the game, because he really does deserve his flowers for that. So I'm going to make sure to give Cade some flowers too. But I love you both. Good luck with Cade, because he's coming up next, so can't wait to see what he has to say.
Okay.
But yes, whatever happens, I just hope that you both know again that like this was the best alliance for me to have, and like last game to end off with y'all was just really great. So thank you.
Stare with the tomatoes every time this alliance gets brought up.
She has her thoughts and feelings, but we love that about her very much. She's an honest queen.
Love her.
All right.
Friday.
I'm not gonna take up any more time because I think Cade may have like a whole speech. So good luck.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank
Okay,
you, Carly.
finally we have Cade. Cade, your 7 minutes will start when you start talking.
Oh my God. I don't miss you. It's been literally 20 minutes.
So I don't have anything planned except for this slideshow I just made.
Oh my God.
Why I would have beat you why I would have beat you loser bitches in the final two, confirmed by the jury, presented by the real winner of 1984 Royal Court.
You would lose against me because the jury would be bitter.
Shayna.
But you didn't
Liar.
competition.
Shayna, shut up. You don't talk everybody else's whole speech down. You cannot be talking mine down. Shayna, this is you.
Oh,
Liar, backstabber, cheater, thief, hater, old.
That is such a lie. I brought you to the end and I protected
Obviously not, because I'm here. Scott, this is you.
I protected you.
Liar. Made unnecessary lies. Hater. Op. Shit talker. Made a fight final two with me. Had others play his game, but he is a lovely person. And this is me.
Thank you for the last remark, Kate. I appreciate that.
Funny. Destroyed Danny in house chat. Didn't backstab for no reason. Loyal. Never nominated or voted out his allies that didn't do that to him. Oh, there's another slide. The jury. This is Danny. And this is the rest of them. The jury all loved me except for Danny, but she doesn't count because her game was horrible, and that's why her ass got sent home. Half from a Disney hater bitch.
Is this the final three?
She gets an extra page because she pisses me off. You asked me for the final two. I didn't ask you, honey boo boo. So just so you know, us not having a relationship was because you didn't try with me. I tried with you. You are grown, so I'm not gonna tell you to grow up, but you suck. Thank you.
Oh, is this your final speech?
Y'all are lucky the final three wasn't a personality challenge because I would have whooped your asses, you nasty bitches. I hate you both. I hope you both rot in hell is what I was gonna say at first, but I flipped a new leaf. This is my leaf. I'm flipping it.
Leaf.
And I won't say that. So I'd like to say I love you both and good luck. Whoever wins, just know that it's because you're not sitting next to me. And now that my monologue is over, I would like to ask a question. Shayna, you cannot go first or you will take up the whole time. Oh my God.
Says the man.
Oh, and see how she goes to take up all the time. Anyways, my question is, what is the biggest lie you've told and do you regret it?
The biggest lie I've told, okay, I told a lot.
We know.
Yeah, I told a lot of lies. Wow, I told so many, I have to think about it. There are a couple. But you don't want to know a couple, you want to know the biggest one? Because I have like a tie.
Well, let's hear them both.
Okay. So the one is obviously, it's not really like a lie I told, but it's just like my whole game with this person in general. I feel bad for playing Sarah. I should not have done that. She's a lovely person. She didn't deserve that. And then also, I'm not pandering because it really is a big lie. Like I told you I would take you to the final two. I went out of my way to do that. And I'll be honest, it's because if you won, I wanted you to take me to the final two with you. So I apologize for lying. I was never going to take you to the final two. I apologize. And I apologize for being a big fucking liar.
Because I was going to take you even if you weren't going to take me because I wanted the easy win.
No, and I get it.
Your turn, Shane.
My biggest lie.
Okay, your turn's over. I don't care. So for the next 3.5 minutes, I'm not gonna listen to Shayna talk because
oh my god, go fuck yourself.
So, I would just like to say
my
I
biggest
am
lie
so
is
funny.
keeping Maddie.
I am so funny and smart and kind. And if you do not like me this season and your name is Danielle, it is probably because you don't share those same characteristics, and you should probably reflect on yourself instead of trying to reflect on me. You need to reflect instead of deflect, because obviously you have your own issues and I do not need them, pushed onto me. Our relationship is completely your fault. You were like, I'm not gonna vote him to win. I'd rather do everything else. Bitch, your blanket looked like shit. Your game was shit. Everything about you is shit. Go home, bitch. You're shit. Thank you. Okay, now Shayna, I just want to do that. You can actually answer the question now. Thank you.
Okay, the biggest
Kidding,
lie.
I don't care. You can't answer the question, bitch. You thought you thought you were gonna answer the question. You thought you were gonna get the answer, but you can't talk.
Oh my god, I hate you so much, Kate. This is why I didn't want you at the end.
This is why I didn't want
never let anybody.
You didn't want me at the end because you were gonna lose. Because I would have whooped both of y'all asses.
Bitch, you just wouldn't let anybody talk.
Exactly, and why would I let you talk when all you talk is nonsense and lies? Confirmed by the jury. Thank you.
Such a dirty liar. I've told the most truths here. You're all a bunch of fucking.
See, that was just a lie there. Oh my god. It might be like what you call it, compulsive, pathological even.
Okay. I'm here. You guys are. I'm sorry, but like I had to do what I had to do. Like you have to tell.
And what you need to do is shut the fuck up.
Oh, love you.
Love you too. And by the way, Shayna is actually my mom. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He hates it.
And they're laughing like they're joking, but I am not joking. Shayna is actually my biological mother.
I've been prepared to see you walk into her camera frame multiple times.
No, me and Shayna are actually related. She'll be there talking. Have y'all heard about her 18-year-old gay son? That's me. And it wasn't a joke. We are biologically related.
Done with him today.
And since we're related, I can tell you that you are a horrible mother. Thank you. I'm kidding. That's mean. You are an amazing mother. And even though you didn't let your kid break dance on your solo cups, I'm sure she'll get over it later on.
She can have them now at the game's over.
And you know what? I think I'm done talking. Oh my gosh. Oh, no, it's not. And P.S. I would have beat you both. Just have to say it again.
Bye, Cade.
Shut up.
Little bitch.
Thank you, Cade. Okay. So it is now time for you guys to give us your closing arguments. As Shayna went first before, Scott will go first this time. You will have 2 minutes, and then I will give you a 30-second warning in the chat. I will cut you off at 2 minutes. So, Scott, your 2 minutes starts when you start talking.
So first, I do want to say thank you all for asking all of the questions that you asked. You really put Shayna and I to work tonight. I will say I was very scared coming into tonight, but that is my own fault because I chose to play the game that I chose to play. that upset all of you. And I literally have a lot going in my mind right now because I realize, wow, I am a fucking liar in this game when I really didn't need to. And I just want to say, I'm definitely going to take that in my future games because you can play the game without lying. And also, I just want to say, regardless of lying, I enjoyed playing this game with each and every one of you, even if you did not enjoy playing it with me. I've been playing these games for a long time and I have not won. Surprise, surprise there, as many people have said before. I do not have the best game, but I do have a lot of passion. I do have a lot of fight. I feel like I was able to go in, win competitions, and I tried to stay as true to myself as possible. Even when I was making alliances with a whole bunch of people, there were 2 or 3 people that, and they know who they are. 2 of them are here on this jury. One of them is on the jury. One of them is in this finale with me, and one of them is a part of the pre-jury. I was able, out of all those alliances I made with a whole bunch of people, there were 3 people that I was 100% going to stay true to, and those people were Shayna, Carly, and Amanda. I love you girls so much. I love everyone so much. Please vote with your heart tonight. I know that I'm not everyone's favorite, but I'm not going to gripe or cry about my game because I can't change it. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Scott. Shayna, your 2 minutes starts when you start talking.
I want to thank everybody. I mean, I gave this game 110%, if not more. I am probably the busiest, if not busiest person. Like I said, I am just nonstop involved in this game from start to finish. I know I've made mistakes and probably upset people, but hopefully there's no hard feelings after. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't make the moves that I made. I hope you choose somebody that you feel could best represent the season. And I feel like I really do deserve this. But either way, no hard feelings. That's fucking amazing. And I love that dude like wholeheartedly. But I do feel like I have been playing like a very all over the board game. And I know maybe you guys don't get it all. Maybe I'm not very good at articulating it either, but I really hope that you go with your gut. And if you vote for me, that's awesome. I love you. If not, I still love you. Like, awesome. Hopefully we can all chat this over in the reunion and get over all the sourness because it really wasn't that bad. Anyways, thanks everybody. I love you. Thanks for listening. I'm a piece of shit. Love you.
You're not.
Okay, thank you, Scott and Shayna. Okay, jurors, it is now time for you to cast your vote. When I call your name, you will be allowed to unmute and make one brief statement without revealing who you're voting. Do not reveal who you are voting. And then once you're done with your statement, please send your vote to your production chat. You're voting for who you want to win. You need to put the name of who you want to win in your production chat. Remember, you are voting for the person that you want to represent your season of 1984. This is an important job. So, first up, we have Sarah.
Hi, honestly, I feel like I could have represented our season. Me, Cody, or Brian, to be honest. Or Cade if he made it to the finals. But honestly, I feel like I'm voting for the person who gave the best speech tonight, to be honest. Not the season, tonight. Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. Cody, you are up.
I have 2 very small things. One, this feels a lot like the 2016 presidential election in which I'm choosing the lesser of 2 evils. Also, I hate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody. Danny, you are up.
I had a wonderful time meeting everybody, and best of luck, guys.
Thank you, Danny. Mia is next. I will grab her vote. Brian, you are up.
I feel like the real true final battle of this season should have came down to the cockroach and the rat, but here we are. And this season is 1984 Royal Court, and we're gonna find out, like I said, is loyalty or ferocity what our season's winner should be. And with that, my vote is 100% secure.
Thank you, Brian. Carly, you're up.
Love you both. If you know me, you know what my vote's going towards. Strategic control, babies, but you're both very deserving. Good luck.
Thank you, Carly. And finally, Cade.
Carly lied. Neither of y'all are deserving. I should have won this game. P.S. Actually, I have nothing else to say. I should have won. Thank you.
Okay, I will be back in just a moment with the votes.
Good luck, Scott. Adore you. Powerpuff Girls.
Good luck, Shayna. I love you so much. I know we
The
talked earlier.
Katie bunch lasted till Final Four without Cody. I'm sorry, Cody. I love you. I hope that we can talk this out after. I feel most bad about my relationship with Cody, and I'm sorry, Cody. I hope we can discuss that.
I'm just a fucking liar and I feel bad.
Votes are in, so I just
Yep. But I do want to say, Shayna, I would not want to be here with anyone other than you. So
thank you for taking me. Because I sucked at that final.
it is okay. You did great.
Yeah, that we thought that we were looking for false or the true. Sorry.
You should have demanded a redo.
Okay, if everybody would like to get on cam, you can.
Oh, fuck you, kid.
Okay, I have the votes. These
Even
are votes
Michael's
for
on cam.
a
I've
winner.
never seen his face all season.
Okay, so I have votes for a winner. There are 7 votes. It takes 4 votes to win. Either way, both of you have played wonderful games. This has been a fantastic season. I'm super proud of all of you, but only one can be our winner. So here we go. Sarah has voted for Shayna.
Thank you.
Cody has voted for Shayna. Danny has voted for Scott. That is 2 votes Shayna, 1 vote Scott. Mia has voted for Shayna. Brian B has voted for Shayna. Congratulations, Shayna. You are the winner of 1984 Royal Court. For the record, Carly voted for Shayna, and Cade has voted for Shayna. So Shayna, you won by a vote of 6-1.
Congratulations, Shayna.
Thank you, everybody. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings along the way. I'm so
Boo tomato, we're throwing tomatoes, bitch, you suck.
I'm just so happy.
I'm not.
Okay, congratulations again, Shayna. on your win. We are going to get to some awards for the season. So I'm going to go on a screen share. Give me just a second. I want to pull up my little chart.
I love you, Scott. Are you okay?
I'm okay, Shayna. I knew taking you, regardless, I think I was going to lose either way. So I'm glad that I lost to someone that I was really close with.
I want you to be okay. I love you so much. I'm here for you no matter what.
It's all good. I made my bed, so now I got to sleep in it.
I know. You're an icon.
You got to vote.
Okay.
And I do want to say, I do want to say,
Well-
regardless of how you all feel, I do all love you. I really do.
Okay, we are going to get to some awards. So first, we have the Best Confessionals Award. Our nominations for this award are Carly, Mia, and Shayna. We had a lot of great confessionalists this season. It was really fun to get to hear all the insight from everybody, have some laughs, have some sad moments as well. We did ultimately award this award to Mia.
I knew it. I was like, she told me loves me.
As emphasized by her final speech, Mia does not really hold back in her confessional chat, especially in her prod chat where you guys will not get to see. But Mia is hilarious, especially when she's able to be unfiltered. And her confessionals were exactly that. Obviously, we loved hearing from everybody, but Mia gave us tons of laughs this season. So we will now move on to the best fight.
All right, hello. It is me, and I'm here to announce the Best Fight Award. So these are the nominations. So we have Cade versus Brian. I mean, how many times did they argue? Cade versus, Kadri versus Brian and Mia. Of course, that was way back when on one of the After Darks. That was one of the most explosive fights that we did have this season. We have Sarah versus Brian. This was in their one-on-one after Brian did not use the veto, and then Maddie ended up being evicted, and Sarah was not happy with Brian, and they had an exchange of words in their one-on-one. Sarah and Shayna versus Brian. This one, you see Sarah's name kind of in parentheses there, because this was again on one of the After Darks where Shayna essentially started a fight with Brian, dragged Sarah in, and then just kind of walked away, and it became a fight of Sarah versus Brian. So that was a very clever move by Shayna there. And then, of course, we have Shayna versus Cade. This was early on in the game before they became allies, question mark. So we did decide to give this award to the fight of Kadri versus Brian and Mia. That was just by far so explosive, so memorable. I could go back and watch it day after day after day. It was an incredible scene to behold, and it really impacted the rest of the game because after that, Mia wanted nothing to do with Kadri after that fight. Obviously, Kadri and Brian were not speaking at all anymore at that point, so it really did have a lasting, you know, lasting effect on the game and their relationships.
Okay, next up we have the Messiest Player Award.
Who dragged me in that?
Hi everyone. So the Messiest Player Award goes to Brian. So Brian held a lot of power this season, winning a plethora of competitions, but his position in the game was constantly fluctuating. He would go from being HOH to being the biggest target in the house to surviving to winning power again. However, unlike the other nominees, he was not always consistent in his gameplay and tended to make some questionable choices. So that's what solidified Brian as our messiest player.
Next, we have the Biggest Blindside.
Okay, so the biggest blindsides, we have Austin here, where a lot of his allies kind of turned on him literally with 1 minute to spare. Like Austin was literally staying until like literally 1 minute before the vote when everyone decided they were flipping their vote. Like when people were not believing it, that was factual. That literally did happen. It was 1 minute to spare. So that was crazy to me. And I do think for a game purpose, a lot of people probably should have just went with the tied that round and just voted out Brian. And then the next one we have is Kadri. I think Cody and Scott, I think maybe regretted it. I don't want to speak for them, but regretted a little bit afterward. Just because, you know, it was siding with a lot of people that ended up being their ops later on in the game. Then we have the Maddie eviction, which there was a lot of steps to this. Like when we saw who won HOH, we were like, okay, two people in the KD bunch are done. Like they're done. They're going home. And then Cody got Danny to nominate Maddie, and then Brian won veto, and they thought everything was blown up again. And then I want to give props to the whole alliance, but mainly Shayna for this one. Shayna like put in work with Brian.
I convinced I was going to keep Maddie.
Yeah, so Maddie should not have been going in any circumstance here. And I think the fact that Maddie even told Brian don't use the veto is crazy to me. And then
She was
Mia going home, I do think, you know, if you look at what happened around prior, she was really loyal to Carly and Shayna. The next round, Carly and Shayna were like, fuck you. But ultimately, this award went to Maddie because I think there was a lot of circumstances where Maddie should have stayed. Like she should not have gone home this round at all. And just everything fell into line for the KD bunch, and that's why that's the biggest blind side.
Next, we have the Best Speech Award.
All right. So for the best speech, we have Cade's vote at Final Four. For the jury who has not been able to see it, I recommend you go see it. I thought it was pretty damn funny, him evicting Carly there. Just the wording, not funny evicting Carly, but the wording of it, I think we can all agree it was a pretty iconic speech there. And giving Carly her flowers while simultaneously sending her out the door. Then we have Cody's exit. I mean, Cody ate down. He knew he ate down. We all know it. Mia's exit, very similarly. She had nothing left to say. She said it all. She put it on the table. She was done. She was getting backdoored, and she knew where she stood with people, and she let them have it. So again, for the jury, I recommend going and watching it. And Sarah's exit. I mean, Sarah, just like with Cody, genuinely went person by person by person by person. Really just reading them for filth, explaining exactly how she felt, did not mince words, and said exactly what she wanted to say to all of them. So it was a really hard decision, honestly, between Cody's exit speech and Sarah's exit speech. It was also iconic that they happened in the same night, but we did decide to give this award to Sarah's exit speech.
It was cute. I watched it back.
You. Thanks, everyone.
It was good.
Okay, next we have the Most Loyal Award. So our nominees being Cade, Scott, and Sarah. So Cade was very loyal to the KD Bunch group, the people that saw him as a player in this game. A lot of people counted Cade out, but Cade was in with his alliance, making the moves he wanted to, and he was very loyal to those people. Especially the ones that were loyal to him, as he has made known tonight. Scott, while some might say he's not loyal, Cody, Scott was very loyal to Shayna and Carly to the end, where he was willing, or he went to the end with Shayna, as he said he wasn't confident if he was going to win or not, but he was happy if it was not going to be him, that it would be Shayna. He was super loyal to Shayna and Carly the whole time. In game, obviously, he did think about cutting the two of you, but that's end game. That's how it goes. And then Sarah, as a newbie orger, was also very loyal to the people that she was with and the people that she fucked with, all this stuff. Yeah, but we did end up giving this award to Scott.
Such a loyal dude. I can't believe he did.
That was rigged, right? Because me or Kate should have got that. That's actually crazy that you guys gave that to Scott.
I
Oh,
know,
don't
but the
crash out,
fact
bitch, I'm
that he took me
flabbergasted.
to the end was
Don't have
like
to be loyal to
scary.
everybody.
Did you guys watch this season? Me and
Would,
Kate were
would
the
would
loyalists.
you take one of them to the end though? Like that's very hard to work with somebody from the get-go and then go to the end. Like I
Well, it's
why.
not that hard to have pre-games.
Thank you.
I've
Thank you.
never pregame. I've never met Scott in my
I've
life.
never spoken to Shayna or Carly.
I have never. Do you know who I knew? Carly and Cody.
Ew,
Not
Shayna,
Scott.
what's up behind you? Shayna, what's up behind you? Look. What's up behind you? Look.
I never
Anywho,
thought
Carly,
coming
Shayna,
into
I love you
me.
guys.
Don't
Okay, we're going
fucking
to
shit on
move
him for being loyal.
We're gonna move
All
on
right,
to the
we're gonna
robbed
move
pre-juror.
on. All right, so we have our robbed pre-juror. So we have some amazing nominees here. Amanda. Amanda was honestly in an amazing spot. She is, I mean, she's known for people who know her in this community. She is a badass player. She's social, she's strategic, she knows what to do. And honestly, when Cody won that round, that was pretty much, at least from my perspective, and I think the rest of Prod agrees, that was one of the only people that was even potentially considering nomming Amanda at that point, and unfortunately, it didn't end up working out for her.
We're still
But she was
wondering
in.
why she was gonna go in Cody's mind.
Because she sucks.
Why what?
Okay, guys, we're gonna
And
keep going.
oh, I'm gonna nominate somebody that's guaranteed to
Shayna,
go.
don't make us mute you. Don't make us mute you. We're trying to
All
get through
right.
it.
I want to talk.
Okay, moving on to Austin. Austin also, he really, with certain people, he was really good, and with other people, he really wasn't too good, which is how he ended up on the block during live night. But he fought so hard to stay over Kadri earlier in that day. And then meanwhile, at live night, he ends up, as we said earlier, with 1 minute left till the Zoom, the vote flips. It was completely out of nowhere. People who had already casted their vote, a pre-vote, to vote out Brian over Austin, ended up changing their vote because of the chat that was made, and he got sent home without having any idea really what was going on. He did not see it coming at all. But it was because of Brian and the people who worked to get him out that he did leave there, but we did not see that coming. Kadri, there was a lot of opportunity for Kadri to stay there. As Cody and Scott know, they were really going back and forth in the last 10-15 minutes before the vote. Should they keep Kadri? Should they not? There was conversation happening very, very last minute, and Kadri could have had the votes if they just decided to keep him in that moment. So again, nearly pulled it out. And Sergio was trying his damnness to fight in this game. He had some people who really were riding with him and other people who really did not view him as an element in this game that they wanted to work with. But he was trying his hardest, and unfortunately, he became this early on pawn that people felt was easy to put on the block, and unfortunately, he could not escape that. So we did end up giving this award to Austin. Austin, like we said, really, it came down to a literal minute. I remember looking at the clock. The Zoom was going to be at 3:55, and at 3:54, it was decided that he was going to stay. Before then, the votes were not at all decided, so it really was a last-minute decision, and it could have been completely different if that had not happened.
Okay, we will move on to the robbed juror award.
All right, so for this award, our nominees are Carly, Cody, and Bethany. So Carly was a front runner in both our eyes and the jury's eyes for pretty much the entire season. She won several competitions, she held a lot of power, and had a lot of win equity. And I think if Carly wins the Final Four veto, she could very likely be our winner. And then we have Cody, who won nearly every HOH competition he played. He was playing a great game, riding the middle between kind of two factions of the house. And he was a contender to win in the eyes of all of the other house guests, which is essentially what took him out of the game. And then we have Danny, who was someone who was very open and willing to work with anyone and everyone in the game, which did wonders for her and gave her a lot of game respect.
That's bullshit.
And if Danny had made it to the end of the game, we were very confident in her ability to articulate her game and potentially win. But the winner of this award is Cody. So the reason Cody won this award is he was playing a very strong game, as I mentioned. But where he messed up was winning HOH at Final 9, where he was forced to show his cards, and he ended up making himself an easy target for Live Night. And essentially the reason he won this award is that if anyone else had won HOH that round, it's likely a very different game for Cody. Up until the Final 9, no one had really talked about targeting him, even though everyone was mentioning him as a threat. It just was an easy opportunity because of the live night situation. And he was definitely a huge threat to win, which is why the shot was taken at him here and why he's our most rubbed juror.
And I tried to throw that fucking HOH to Shayna too. God damn it.
Okay. We are going to move on to the missed opportunity.
Okay, so a missed opportunity, I feel like, can be described as something that should have happened, could have benefited your game a lot more. And I think there was a lot of those moves in this game that should have happened. But we narrowed it down to three. And so the first one we have is Brian and Mia not keeping Cody during live night. Now, I think with the information they were given, I think, Cody was done. But I do think from a production standpoint, having the information now, it would have been such a good move for them to flip over and save Cody so that there was an opposition against Carly, Shayna, and Scott. But obviously, nobody had the information then. It was done. So then we had Mia not taking out Carly or Shayna on her HOH when she was HOH at Final 7. As much as Danny was not really speaking to Mia and Danny did not have a working relationship, I think she should have taken the shot at Carly and Shayna and probably use that to build her relationship with Danny. But obviously, we see what happened. That wasn't the case. And then we have Scott not voting to keep Mia at Final 6, which Scott knew for his game, it probably would have gave him a lot more win equity in the end because he was the swing vote that round. He even said in his confessional chat, he feels like keeping Mia was better, but he wanted to stay loyal to Carly and Shayna. And I think had he kept Mia in that round, that's a move that he made himself that would have differentiated himself from his alliance. But ultimately, we gave this award to Mia not taking out Carly or Shayna because I think once Mia won, we were like something could happen. And then once Mia did not put up Carly or Shayna, we're like, okay, Carly, Shayna, Scott just ran the rest of this game.
Okay, so missed opportunities are something that could have happened. You might not have had the right information for it to happen. The worst move is something that you definitely should have seen coming. So next is worst move.
All right, so for worst move, first up we have Brian not using the veto on Danny. Now this was a situation where Brian himself had said he didn't want to piss anyone off. He didn't know whether or not keeping Danny would pay off, but where he went wrong was the damage was essentially done. He had told Mia that he wanted to take Danny off the block, and it spread across the entire house to the point where the entire game knew that that's what Brian wanted to do. So by him not ending up doing it, he got all of the damage that would have came from the move without any of the benefit. Then we have Brian not using veto on Maddie. This was a very controversial move. Maddie was essentially Brian's most trusted ally at this point in the game, and he let her stay on the block. And then we have Danny taking out Maddie. So this is kind of linked with what I just mentioned. This was definitely an oversight on Danny's part. At this point in the game, it was essentially a 5 versus 5 split with the Katie bunch on one side and everyone else on the other side. And with Brian and Danny both being king and queen, this should have been an easy round to gain the numbers headed into jury. But the winner of this award is Brian not using the veto on Maddie. So the reason this is the worst move is because, as I mentioned, Brian won both HOH and veto this round, and the number one person on his trust rankings went home. This was a bad move because from a short-term perspective, Danny had already told Brian that Shayna would have been her renom. So he had a guaranteed shot at someone who was at the time actively working against Brian. Now, I understand that the argument that Shayna did save and benefit Brian later on, but in that situation, Shayna had all of the agency and Brian made it so that he would only ever stay if Shayna decided she wanted him to stay. If Brian had instead let Danny put Shayna up, Shayna very likely leaves during that round, and Brian has the numbers heading into jury with him not needing Shayna.
Okay. And when you have a worst move, you must also have a best move.
All right, so we have a lot of really great moves here to talk about. I want to get into too much detail, but we have some really great moves. So, Cody misting Brian and Danny at the final 10. This was really masterful, honestly, where we saw Brian and Danny, as Brooks was just saying, Brian and Danny have control, and it should be an easy week. Take out one of the Katie bunch and just move on. And unfortunately for them, Cody comes in and Shayna comes in, but really I have to give the credit to Cody here first and foremost because Cody put that work in to basically ensure that um, Brian did not put him up. Brian and him got on a call, and Brian basically said, "Yeah, I'm going to nominate you." And by the end of the call, Cody's no longer going up, which rarely happens. I mean, if the HOH says you're going up, it's pretty much done. So Cody was able to ensure that he did not go up, and then instead Brian was going to put Cade up. But Cody then knowing that if Cade went up by Brian, Danny was going to do Shayna. Well, Cody didn't want that either because Cody was riding with Shayna. So Cody went then to Danny to make sure that Danny did not put up Shayna. And lo and behold, we end up with a nom set of Maddie and Cade on the block at final 10 when those were insane noms for what was going on in the game at that time. So I have to give Cody his flowers for that. Um, Shayna and Carly misting up Mia and Brian. This is at the final 7, as we said. It was really a double misting where they were able to somehow repair the relationships that they had with Mia, which were pretty much non-existent. They get Mia on their side for the round while she's HOH, and they're able to escape being nominated and then convince Mia to essentially turn on Brian and convince Brian to not use the veto because they know that if Brian uses the veto, there's a very strong chance that one of them goes up and goes home, which is what should have happened. So they are able to basically completely play Mia and Brian together in that round to essentially turn on each other when that should not have happened. Which is going on with the second one as well. Shayna convincing Brian to not veto Maddie. Again, this is going back to the final 10 round where Shayna was able to make a deal with Brian, basically build a lot of trust when all of the pre-jury, there was no trust there. And she was able to convince Brian to not veto his #1 ally because she was then going to go up. Meanwhile, Brian should not have cared if Shayna went up. He actually should have been happy about it. Um, Shayna lying about having an extra vote to Brian. Again, this is going back to that final 10 round. Shayna literally was on call with Brian, and out of nowhere, she just made up that she had an extra vote. She used this as leverage to build trust with Brian. There was no extra vote. There was no power. There was nothing. She used this to make trust with Brian. And for basically the rest of the jury phase, Brian had trust in Shayna because of this one little secret that she told him, which wasn't even true. And then finally, rounding it out, we have Shayna taking out Mia at final 6. This was Shayna's master plan. At final 7, she was working with Mia, but she knew she was in her project saying that final 6, she was going to take out Mia. She was going to make sure that her allies did what was best for her, which was taking out Mia, and she was able to get Mia out on her HOH when realistically, Carly and Scott, especially Scott, should not have done that. So we have some really amazing moves here. We did decide to give this move to Shayna and Carly together, convincing Mia and Brian, who should have been locked in fully, convinced them to turn on one another. And essentially, after that, Mia and Brian had no trust, and they were able to convince Mia to not put them up and Brian to not use the veto. It was just a crazy scenario that should not have happened. So, a really well done move by Shayna and Carly.
Okay, we will move on to the Social Butterfly Award.
Okay. Social Butterfly Award. We're starting off with Carly. Carly, it was no secret. Carly was kind of talking with everybody. Regardless if you talk game with Carly or just personal relationships, most people in the house liked Carly in the game. She was just easy to talk to, so a lot of people kind of viewed her as someone, even though they knew she was a target, they viewed her as someone that they could maybe work with in the game because of this. Maddie, I do think Maddie got a little like sick toward the end, and I think then she stopped calling people. But at the start of the game, Maddie was talking with literally everybody. She was in both alliances pretty much. She was pretty much dead set in the middle. And I think everybody trusted her at some point. Like if you look at the trust rankings after the season, Maddie was like number one, number two consistently for a while. Um, and then we have Scott. I will say early on, nobody was calling. Like round one, round two, y'all sucked at calling. Scott was consistently calling people and getting that flow going. So I will give him props to that. And then even as the game progressed, Scott never gave up talking to people. He was always in everyone's ear, always wanting to get on calls, always wanting to build some sort of social relationship. And then we had Shayna. Shayna, I feel like just knew how to talk to people on calls. Like the conversation she had with one person was completely different from the next. But she was always keeping her options open. And I do think it was very fluid because of her talking with absolutely everybody as well. Although she did have a few targets that she didn't waste too much time on. But ultimately, we did give this award to Shayna, just because I do think Shayna's social relationships with people is by far the reason why she got here. She touched a block one time, and never touched again. And I do think it was mainly because of her social relationships with people. And if you didn't talk to Shayna, you were probably one of the next two boots.
Okay, next we have the best rivalry award. The slide cracks me up.
All right, so we have best rivalry. As we see, it's a little repetitive here. We have Brian versus Cade, Cade versus Shayna, and Shayna versus Brian. I think we all are pretty well aware of all of these different rivalries and what happened. You know, at times these were rivals, at times these were allies. It really depended on the day or really the minute of the day. And as we see, even down to the jury questioning, we had some fun banter with Cade and Shayna there. But I don't think there's any competition here. We did decide to give this award to Cade and Brian. This was just season long, essentially, even until the very end, about, final six or so. They're still, wanting to nominate one another when there's a clear trio right in front of them in Carly, Shayna, and Scott. But these two were still just looking at one another. And it just really could never be sorted out. So we had to give it to them.
Okay. And now we have the duo of the season.
Okay, so duo of the season, we have Brian and Maddie, who I think started off super strong. The alliance of Brian, Maddie, and Mia, I think early on in the game was a super powerful alliance. And then the second Brian did not use a veto on Maddie, things kind of went a little bit down. But they did have each other at number one pretty much the whole time until Maddie was voted out. We had Cade and Shayna where Cade was feeling kind of alone and they had their little fight in the chat. But then ultimately Shayna like scooped Cade up. They had this like bantering relationship that I don't know, they were always looking out for each other. It was wild to me that they were fighting one day and the next day they were like number two on each other's trust rankings. But anyway, that was a time to be alive. Then we have Carly and Shayna, which it's no secret. I think everyone clocked from like round three onward that they were a duo. Everyone kind of knew that they were going hand in hand this game. And I do think a lot of the ideas that were created, like I feel like Shayna and Carly created the idea together, or like Shayna came up with it, pitched it to Carly, vice versa, and then they would pitch it to the rest of their alliance members. Um, and then we had Cody and Danny, which I think could have been the strongest partnership in the game had the dynamics, falled a little bit differently because it was one person on each side. I think the fault was is everyone knew they were close, so it made everyone a little bit scared of it. But I think it was great to listen to them, and it was a partnership that I feel like nobody would have expected if they weren't so vocal about it. Like they were kind of openly telling everybody that they felt good with each other, but that was the main problem there. Ultimately, we decided to give it to the duo that ran the entire season pretty much, Carly and Shayna.
Okay, and next we have the alliance of the season.
Oh my God, I better be long-winded. Okay. Um, so first we have the anti-twinks, which is Brian, Maddie, and Mia, which early on, as I said earlier, they did have a lot of control. There is like, I don't know, like the pre-jury phase of the game, I do think they were the most powerful alliance in the game. Then once jury hit, it was a little bit rough. But then we have the Katie bunch, which consisted of Kate. You can see it on the screen. I'm not gonna read it, but they literally made so many, like the way that they got Brian to not use veto, the way they got Danny to put up Maddie, like it was crazy. Like the 2 or 3 rounds that they were put together, they made moves that I've not seen before. And it was like a collective group effort, I would say, for the most part. Um, and I think if that alliance stuck together, like 100%, that would have been probably the best alliance in 1984 history. Then we have the Powerpuff Girls, which Carly, Scott, and Shayna, we heard a lot about tonight. They were pretty loyal to each other pretty much since round 2, round 3. And they made every decision together. Every decision that happened, they were always in sync with it. So we decided to give the award to the Powerpuff Girls just because of how loyal they were to each other.
Next, we have the Comp Beast of the season. So this really could go to any of these three between Brian, Carly, and Cody. Brian won 6 comps this season. Carly and Cody each won 5. We did ultimately give this award to Brian. He did win the most comps this season, but all 3 of them had very good showing. I have never seen 2 people go back to back with HOHs the way that Carly and Cody did at the beginning of the season. Obviously, the twist helped with that, having the king and the queen both claiming comp wins. But yeah, we have Brian as the official comp beast of the season. So next, we have the underdog of the season.
All right, so the nominees are Brian. Brian was someone who was constantly fighting for his spot in the game. He was a favorite in the jury's eyes. He was being targeted for pretty much the entire game after, I want to say, the middle rounds of pre-jury, and he still made it all the way to final 5 and gained a lot of respect in the game from the jury. Then we have Cade. Cade was someone in this game that you either loved or didn't like at all, and the latter is what made him such a big underdog. Cade was nominated 5 times this season, got into several confrontations, and was an incredibly rootable figure in the minority. He won several vetoes to take himself off the block, and he very likely could have won a jury vote if he had made it to the end. And then we have Mia. While Mia was in a very strong position early on, she was a huge underdog in the eyes of the viewers and production as well when jury started. At final 9, Mia became a house pariah where no one was talking to her, everyone was avoiding her and Sarah, but she managed to win veto, solidify herself in a good spot, and then even ended up winning an HOH. And then we have Sarah. Sarah was a major character this season. This was Sarah's first ever game. She's never played a mini, a live game, or anything of the sort, and we weren't quite sure what to expect from Sarah. While she made a few rookie mistakes that caught her some heat, she managed to get out of some tricky situations as well, despite being targeted by probably the most powerful players of the season. Ultimately, we decided to give this award to Sarah, with the reason being, while Sarah had great instincts, she was often having to fight with her own allies, namely Brian, to see things from her perspective, and sometimes even make moves that were actually in their best interests. And she also won competitions when her back was against the wall several times pre-jury. We were just overall very impressed with Sarah for her first game. And then we also wanted to acknowledge the 3rd week in this game where Sarah and Sergio were on the block, and Sarah campaigned her ass off to stay in the game. And that week is what really ignited the fire that led to such an amazing season. It was just a spectacular week all around, and Sarah deserves her props for that.
So next we have the viewer's favorite pre-juror. So we are also going to have a viewer's favorite juror. Over the last couple days, we have had our viewers lounge voting for who their favorite juror and pre-juror were. And so our viewers' favorite preacher is Kadri with 25% of the vote. Honorable mention to Amanda getting 20% of the vote. And then the viewers' favorite juror slash finalist. The winner was Carly with 46% of the vote, with Mia claiming second with 38% of the vote. So congratulations to you guys. So next we have our prod favorites. So every production member has picked a favorite house guest. We have some that some of us have decided to share. But first we have Skies.
If my prod favorite doesn't get on cam, I'm changing it.
Um, hi guys. So I obviously was not, you guys probably didn't see me a lot chatting it up, doing stuff. I was doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but this person that I picked, I was thoroughly impressed. Obviously, I was doing everybody's trust rankings. And I watched this person play a really good middle game and super underestimated. And I feel like I just really enjoyed their game. So my prod favorite is drumroll, Danny. Love me some Danny, even though Danny's not here, but whatever.
Okay. Next we have Nolan. I believe Nolan is here, right? Yes, Nolan's here.
Oh, sorry. I've been on mute. Um, Coming into this and doing like the podcasts and doing interviews, which shout out to the final three. I look forward to doing those with you. Um, I really didn't know that many people going into the game, but I will say, based off that, this person really impressed me. Um, that being said, honorable mention to Cade, but the person I ended are you gonna
Honorable
like
mention Cade.
Yeah, you
That's
like
what I
cut
thought.
out halfway, so there
Honorable
Oh,
mention Cade. He picked Cade.
yeah,
Thank you.
honorable mention to Cade, but the person I went with was
okay.
Nolan, fix your internet, but we
I
heard
love
No,
you,
it's
Nolan.
no,
It's
it's because he
it's
wants
the
to pick
person I
me.
went with was, and then it cuts out, but it's
Yep.
okay.
Y'all
Okay,
heard him honorable mention Cade, and he did it twice.
we
So
will move
he
on
knows me.
to Zach and Chris.
Okay, hello. So I am going to give this award on behalf of me and my fellow prod member, Chris. So, I always love to watch people that I am not familiar with, whether it be somebody that I've never seen before, heard of, watched, whatever it may be. And someone in particular that I had never heard of before this game really, really impressed me in many, many ways. And I really was just so entertained by them every single day they were in this game. I was so devastated when they got voted out. So without further ado, my prod favorite and Chris's prod favorite is Sarah. Sarah, you did the damn thing. It was just so nice to see a newbie. We love seeing people who have never played before, and you gave it your all. You had an uphill battle, as we mentioned, because you didn't really know what orgs even were. I remember on the night one Zoom call, you said, "What's an org?" Like you didn't even know what it was. And you put in work. That week you were on the block with Sergio and you got the votes to stay was just so fun to watch. And yes, it was amazing to host you and watch you.
I really appreciate it.
Next up is Tyler.
Okay, so genuinely, I liked so many people on this cast. Like, people were cracking me the fuck up. But so for this, a lot went into it. Usually, I am a very big like underdog supporter. I love the alliance that is getting decimated because they're usually, a lot more entertaining. But for this one, I was rooting. I not rooting, but it was the majority alliance was so fun at the same time. Usually the majority alliance is just like game all the time. But it was nice that they actually just like kikied on call, they had a good time, they got to know each other, whatever. Um, and my prod favorite is going to the person who we broke into a public pool at 3 in the morning. It has to be Carly.
I love you so
I
much.
know
Yes,
that's right.
Love
Jack,
you.
my nasty ass on camera. We did break into a pool at 5 o'clock in the morning after struggling to do so for like 3 days. So,
And we did, and it
and
was a
we
good
did.
time.
We did, and no one got it on video, and we still
And
hated
from
on.
fucking asses off.
You know what? Love you.
Love
Thank
you.
And next we have myself and Burks. Burks, if you want to talk first, and then I'll talk after we reveal who it is.
Yes. Okay. Um, so I really enjoyed watching a lot of you. I had a lot of favorites this season. I was rooting for everyone who made jury at one point or another in this game. But I landed on someone who, in my opinion, was the complete package in terms of entertainment and gameplay. So the person Michael and I chose is
Mia. So for 2 seasons now, I've watched Mia play this game, and Mia is just a different breed of player. I feel like we got a lot of the same stuff from Sarah, who came out as somebody who's never played another game, and is not around this community a lot and doesn't really know what they're doing. And Mia's just so genuinely Mia, and that's what I love about her. Hearing all the shit that she would talk in her production chat and confessional chat, I just always loved to see what Mia had to say this entire game, whether it was just being annoyed or getting her redemption, all that stuff. So I'm so glad that we got to see Mia again on this season, and that she really got to play a full season of 1984.
and then I just wanted to,
Also, yes,
sorry,
you're good.
I just wanted to add, like Michael said, Mia was an incredibly fun character when it came to her calls and confessionals and like the way she reacted to different situations. And then Mia also grew as a player exponentially from her last time. She was in one of the best positions pre-jury. She being in trios with both Brian and Maddie and Cody and Scott, and she legitimately had held a lot of agency and power, especially when it came to like the Kadri vote or the Austin vote. She was making those decisions, and she used her relationship with Maddie to get her way several times throughout the pre-jury. So we wanted to give her props for not only how great she was as a character, but also her gameplay.
Okay. Also, my boyfriend's been watching this season with us, and he wants me to tell everybody that his prod favorite is Cade. He has absolutely loved watching Cade.
Oh my gosh, who's your boyfriend? I love him.
You would not know him, but he has been watching and he has loved watching you. So I
Oh
had
my
to
gosh, I
let
love
everybody
you.
know that. Okay, so now we'll move on to what we consider the big three awards. So first up is Hero of the Season.
All right. So you might have noticed that we don't have nominees here, like with our usual other awards, because in all honesty, y'all are not really very heroic. As we saw from even the jury questioning tonight, y'all are messy, y'all are villainous, y'all are rude, and there's not many heroes among y'all. There's villains, there's some anti-heroes in there, but not many heroes. But we were able to pick one of you out as the hero of the season because they really from a prod and viewer perspective, they really did have a pretty heroic story. They definitely were not necessarily on the same wavelength as y'all in terms of your attitudes towards the finalists or the jury questioning or even just each other during the game. So without further ado, we've decided to give the hero of the season award to Danny. Danny is absolutely such a hero behind the scenes. For y'all who might not have seen it in the game, trust behind the scenes. She is really a hero, heart of gold through and through. And we really loved hosting her, and it was such a pleasure to have her. And yeah, we decided to give the award to her.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
Okay, next, if you don't want to be a hero, you got to be a villain.
Well, coming from a villain myself, villains have more fun. So we have Cade, the most heroic person on this season, of course, who started fights in the main chat all the time. Just if you talk to Cade, he was probably talking shit of some kind. So I think that's villain energy. Next, we have Carly. I think Carly, this game was willing to do whatever it took to win, and it came more from like a game standpoint. I think she was just willing to play the game as hard as she could, and it just she was willing to do whatever to win. I think that ties in a lot with Shayna as well. Like Shayna was, playing the most cutthroat game I've pretty much ever seen. She was literally plotting in her main chat the boot order, and Scott and Carly were not in her final three plans. And I was like, girl, this is a villainous way to play, but I support it. And then we have Cody, just the energy he gives. If you know Cody, he's not afraid to speak his mind. We saw it on his way out. Um, we also saw it in the jury chat when you guys read back. Cody is not as afraid to speak his mind, and he does not give hero energy. But at the end of the day, we did give the award to Shayna because I think Shayna was a villain personally and in the game. She was starting fights. She was always causing drama, but also from a game perspective, she was willing to cut a bitch whenever.
Okay. And finally, we have the Player of the Season award. So first I want to talk about Scott. Scott came into the season wanting redemption from his original season where he placed 8th. He was able to get in good with an alliance. Obviously, we've talked about the Powerpuff Girls all night long, and was able to utilize that alliance to get himself into the final 3, where he was basically guaranteed a spot in the final 2. However, the award does come down to Carly versus Shayna here. The two of these people misted everybody this season. They got themselves into an alliance where they were basically running the show from a very early on in the game. Shayna only went on the block round 4, was able to stay unanimously. Obviously, she was on the block tonight at Final 3 as well. But with that being said, she also between herself winning the final HOH or Scott winning, had a pretty guaranteed spot in the final 2 as well. Shayna was able to manipulate so many little tiny things this season to go the exact way that she wanted. But the head of the snake was Miss Carly, who won so many competitions, was able to socially maneuver this game beautifully, not go on the block, but one time. So Carly is our player of the season.
Thank you guys. That's really sweet.
I fucking love you.
So that is our awards. This has been one of my favorite seasons, top tier. Don't want to give an exact ranking right now because it's too recent, but this has been one of my favorite seasons. You guys were all hand selected by us for this season, and you guys definitely gave this season. I'm very happy with how this season has played out. Shayna, you are a great representation of this season. I'm very proud of the game you've played. I think it's definitely underestimated. There are a lot of little tiny things that you did this season that people might never even realize happened. So watching you play this game was really fun, and I'm really proud of your win. Scott, you got your redemption this season. I'm so proud that you were able to make it to the finals this time. Mia as well, good job getting to actually play this game. I'm really happy with this whole cast, how this season has gone. So a few things before we hand it over to you guys. We will be getting the chart and different things out to you guys over the next couple days. Little secrets and stuff about the season. For you guys to look at, trust rankings, all that stuff will be in there. Also, this server that you are in now that you played the game in, you will have this server. You can stay in here to have your memories of all the jury chat and all the chats and stuff that are here. And if you'd like to still use the server to chat, you are welcome to. However, we also are going to be dropping a link to our main server. So we would really like you guys to hop over to the main server. We will give you a season chat in there as well. So you can chat in there. You'll also have access to the alumni chat with all the people that have played 1984, as well as the general chat. So just like our little community of 1984. You are also more than welcome to now rejoin or join our Facebook group. It's just 1984 Productions. So you are welcome to rejoin that and see all the comments. I know a lot of boot posts have had a lot of comments of praising you guys. So yeah, you'll get a lot of that stuff over the next couple days. I speak on behalf of production. This has been such a great season. We're really happy with how it has gone. I don't know if any other prod wants to say anything before the stream's over, but we're gonna leave the Zoom open for you guys. I'm gonna end the stream, but you guys will have the Zoom to chat, reunionize, whatever you'd like to do. But yeah.
That's me throwing tomatoes.